Welcome to the Gavel. I'm Terry Kumi. Let me bring you up to speed with the activities of members of Parliament. Now, lawmakers in the upper chamber resumed plenary after a 3-week break, and the National Assembly proceeded to approve the second extension of the capital component of the 2024 budget to December the 31st, 2025. The bill received expedited passage through first, second, and third reading. Now, while the bill killed second reading in the House without any debate, it was heavily debated in the Senate. Here's a look at the debate on that bill and more from the Senate this past week.
Now,
The first legislative day of the week in the Senate began with a bill sponsored by the chairman of the Senate Committee on Appropriations for the extension of the capital component of the 2024 budget.
we find it very important to come before these allo chambers that this budget be extended by further 6 months, that is to end on 31st December 2025, to allow, among other things, the procurement process to be completed, money to be released for the implementation of the capital component of this budget.
This latest prolongation follows President Bola Tinubu's initial request, granted late last year, to push the deadline from December 31st, 2024 to June the 30th, 2025. However, some lawmakers began to kick against the request.
Today has not given compelling reasons why this extension has become necessary. And I don't want to hazard any guess. But from this aisle, you all know what is happening. Maybe there is too much preoccupation with politics and 2027. Maybe there's too much concentration on receiving defectors all across the country, and people are not looking at the... please. Mr. President, I have the floor.
You started very well, end very well.
I have the floor. I have the floor.
I'm going to bring a motion sequel to the passage of the bill, which says the Committee on Appropriation and Finance should investigate the recurring dismal of non-implementation of the capital component and report back within 1 week or 2.
This government has to come to explain to Nigerians what is happening. Because now, for example, we are being taken for a ride. You know, we amended the budget to December. I have been here for the past 3, this is the 3rd session of my presence in this National Assembly. We never had this. It has never happened like this. The credibility of the government is getting down.
After a back and forth, the bill, which they speedily scaled through first reading, is passed.
Further extend the capital components of the Act from 30th June 2025 to 31st December 2025, and for other related matters, 2025, third reading taken and passed.
They brought commissioning from 2 to 12.
On the next legislative day, the killings across the country took center stage in the Senate as Yelwata and Mangu killings were debated on the floor.
The killing in Yelwata is pure terrorism, pure genocidal activity. And the president went there and promptly raised questions, even as he was received by the Totif. And the president right there raised the question to the Inspector General of Police. IG, over 200 people massacred, are not even arrested. And Mr. President, that has been what we've been discussing for over 2 years. Every time we have these killings.
The resurgence of insecurity in the country, I hope is not politically linked. Let me just hope that it's just the increase in terrorism and banditry. Otherwise, God will not allow those who are sponsoring these kind of things and financing these killings to go free.
The intervention of the military, according to some lawmakers, has also been apt.
The enthusiasm displayed in the party spirit of the troops of Operation Hiding Kai in not only repelling Boko Haram attack on one of my local governments, Abadam, and one other local government in the Borotay town, in the local government of Borno South, but also for the gallant troops to reclaim about half of communities that are in one of my local government.
The Senate resolved to commence investigation into the killing of 12 travelers from Zaria to Plateau State. Shortly after, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on the Rivers Emergency Rule submits its report on the screening and approval of the chairman of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, who is a non-indigent.
We should not, as a Senate, just approve or think that what is being done is not against the Constitution. We are supposed to be guided by more than Constitution. We are supposed to be guided by the conscience. We are the highest decision-making body in this country politically. Please.
I'm talking about ethics. And so, Mr. President, what you want to hear is that we are going to take this report. From this eyes, we are going to take this report. But let it be known that at least we have some concerns about what is going on there. Because in the first place, this is an emergency rule.
Your time is up, I'm sorry. Your time is up,
less than 3 months.
Your time is up.
Have you been keeping time? Have you been keeping time?
What is expected of us is to bring a bill and legislate it into action, into existence, that before you can hold such a position in another state, we now spell out the rule and say you must be a registered voter, you must be a resident. Otherwise, one, in the Constitution, there's nothing that disqualifies him. In case law, as decided by the judiciary, he's eminently qualified because registration as a voter is not a condition for appointment. So either way, either in the Constitution or in case law, the man is eligible.
The overwhelming majority eventually adopted the report.
Those in favor, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it.
The 1.485 trillion naira 2025 budget of Rivers State was also considered and passed through third reading. The Senate Committee on Public Accounts has issued a 10-day ultimatum to NNPC Limited to respond to 11 critical financial queries related to discrepancies in its audited financial statements, warning that failure to comply could attract serious constitutional consequences. The committee, chaired by Senator Aliyu Wadada, had days ago expressed outrage over what it described as a mind-boggling and unacceptable financial irregularities uncovered in NNPC's books, including over 200 trillion naira in unexplained receivables and undocumented legal and audit fees spanning the years 2017 to 2023. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited had therefore failed to appear before the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, probing alleged financial discrepancies, and despite being summoned, no official or external auditors from NNPCL showed up.
It is unacceptable. For that, this committee is giving NNPC 10 working days from today to appear before the committee with the relevant questions, answers to the questions earlier issued for this investigation to continue. 10 working days from today will be 10th of July. If at that day NNPC does not respond accordingly, then this committee will have no option than to invoke and assert all the powers available to the committee or to the Senate constitutionally. That, in a nutshell, will be termed, considered as contempt to the Senate.
Now let's turn to the House of Representatives, where 2 letters of assent withheld were received from the president after he refused to sign 2 bills. Meanwhile, the tradition of defection continued as lawmakers joined the majority All Progressives Congress in the House of Representatives. Peter Akpanke from Cross River State joined the APC from the PDP. Chimobi Atu and Paul Namchi from Enugu State joined the APC from the Labour Party. Here's more from the Green Chamber.
When lawmakers in the Green Chamber resumed fully from the Salah break after their joint sitting 2 weeks ago to celebrate Democracy Day, a communication from the president was read, declined to assent to the National Assembly Library Trust Fund Establishment Bill transmitted by Parliament. A motion of urgent importance was taken and adopted as the House resolved to investigate the gruesome killing of 13 travelers from Kaduna to Plateau State on Friday, the 20th of June, 2025.
Concerned that this horrific act is part of an increasing trend of insecurity and interstate violence that threatens the freedom of movement, peace, and unity of Nigeria as a country. Concerned that the continued failure to arrest and prosecute perpetrators of heinous crimes is emboldening criminal elements and undermining public confidence in the government's ability to provide security and justice in that area and other areas in the country where such acts of crimes continue to happen without any action against the perpetrators.
Meanwhile, like the Senate, the House amended the 2024 Appropriations Act and the capital component to the 31st of December 2025.
I believe it is in the interest of the country for us to move for this extension of the budget. So I think we put the question again. Those in support of this bill go for second reading, say aye. Those against, you say nay. Let's have it. Clerk.
In the meantime, the House has mandated its committees on healthcare services and health institutions to investigate the reasons behind the underperformance of the NHIS in Nigeria, identify areas for improvement, and recommend solutions to enhance the effectiveness and efficiency of the scheme. On the second legislative day of the week, once again, the issue of security was in focus, as the attention of the House was drawn to the security situation in Benue State, especially the recent killings that occurred in Yelwata community.
Worried that any delay in response and lack of comprehensive security measures may escalate the violence and deepen humanitarian crisis in the area. My prayers, Mr. Speaker, the House resolved that the House mandates the relevant House Committee on Interior and Security to immediately visit Yelwata and affected communities in Guma local government to assess the situation on the ground and report back with recommendations.
An amendment to address the recurring killings was taken and the motion is passed.
I want to propose, that a special ad hoc committee be set up to look at the insecurity in Benue State that has gone on for the past 15 years as a House and profile a very holistic solution that can bring about peace to Benue State, which, Mr. Speaker, as we know, is the food basket of the nation and has become plagued by this insecurity, leading to low performance in our agriculture and our farmers unable to return to their farms.
Another business undertaken in the House was the consideration of the budget of the Nigeria Customs Service. The committee is recommending that some fees being charged by customs be dropped, as they are illegal.
We are urged to mandate the Nigerian Customs to stop collection of 1%, not backed by any known law of Parliament. So if it's not backed by law, do we need to actually ask them to stop collection of something that is not backed by law?
But it doesn't hurt if you put it. It doesn't offend anything.
During the military era, that was when there was a military instruction from the head of state that they should take 7% of whatever they collected. And the CISS, Comprehensive Import Supervision Scheme, was designed to take care of the service providers. So that time they were doing this job on behalf of customs, but they have all gone. So everything has been done by customs. The only legal money they're supposed to collect is the 4% FOB.
Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has declined to assent to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Amendment Bill of 2025. The president's decision was contained in a letter read by the Speaker during plenary.
I hereby convey to the House of Representatives my decision to decline assent to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Amendment Bill 2025. The rationale for my decision is that the bill seeks to give the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency power to retain a portion of the proceeds of drug-related crime. Currently, all proceeds of crime must be paid into the confiscated and forfeited properties account. In addition to this, payments to the relevant organization responsible for recoveries can only be made by the President, subject to the approval of the Federal Executive Council and the National Assembly. There is no compelling reason to change the current process, which promotes transparency as it involves executive and legislative oversight.
Welcome back. Time for the breakdown. Let's hear from the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center on matters surrounding constituency projects of members of Parliament.
There is an important need for us to capture constituency projects in the budgets of the country. The question with Nigeria is how has Nigeria dealt with the debates around constituency projects over the years? And it's been a recurring issue. Members of the National Assembly are elected. They feel that their constituents are not satisfied that all that they do is come back to say this is our legislative achievements. Constituents also wants to see, in terms of physical presence, infrastructure or development activities in the constituencies that they represent. And so that's a constant worry for members who are elected into legislative houses, whether it's in the State House of Assembly or in the National Assembly. But the country has not found a way to deal with it. And so in the National Assembly, for instance, it's been always a challenge, and sometimes it leads into scandals. And a lot of Nigerians have questioned the efficiency and effectiveness of including constituency projects in the budget. In several other climes, elected members are given the incentive to indicate what would be a specific need for their constituency. The method of implementation is several times more organized, because then there are departments of government that have responsibility for ensuring that contracts for those projects are awarded, it is implemented. But here I think that the suspicion around it has been that members of the National Assembly sometimes find who the contractors are. Sometimes these projects are not executed or haphazardly executed. And so constituents feel that they still don't see the benefit of including constituency projects in the budget. So I think it's something that this country needs to define. I believe that you need a special department of government that works with elected members to identify what each constituency needs, opens up the process so that the constituency members can know that a budget proposal includes a delivery to their constituency, and they can hold the members accountable for the actual delivery of those projects. As it is, sometimes constituents accuse their members of attracting constituency projects to the constituency, but also really not delivering on it, and sometimes profiting from it. So I think it's something that needs to be clearly defined, and I think that the executive and the legislature need to work out a mechanism that enables constituency projects to be delivered. You certainly have a situation where it is also unclear whether constituency projects should be tangible development projects. A situation where a constituency project is about training, seminars, and so on, doesn't help a constituency. So I think it's something to be clearly defined. If you do have a constituency project, it should be a capital project. It should aim to deliver something, whether it is alternative energy supply to the community, roads, water supply, something that a constituency can feel that they have, that it has improved their conditions of living. The ideal should be that there should be separation of responsibilities. The legislator should identify in consultation with the community what needs to be done, what projects, capital project needs to be carried out in a constituency. Once that is identified, there should be a process of communicating that to the relevant executive arm of government. And there should be some thresholds where you measure that there is a quality of constituency projects such that you don't have one member having, let's say, 100 million, and another member having a 2 million naira constituency project. There should be equal distribution of constituency projects so that constituencies have equal delivery, even though we all even complain and worry about the way constituencies were shared around in Nigeria by the military government, that the inequality of it is so stark such that certain parts of the country are severely disadvantaged by the present distribution of constituencies.
Now, speaking of constituency projects, constituency focus today is with Honourable Patrick Omhe. He represents Ikorekpene Esenudim Oborakara Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State.
So far, so good. I have contributed immensely to the development of legislation in Nigeria, particularly having led debate in about 3-4 bills. I've presented about 12 bills for consideration. I have done several motions and petitions on the floor of the House. And the core mandate of my committee has been to monitor and evaluate the implementation of legislative agenda, which we have been doing day after day. I am engaging very seriously with my constituency so I can bring governance down to my constituents. First 3 months, I paid bursary to students, indigent students in public institutions, and it went well with them. I have also incorporated several cooperative societies for young people with startup business grants to make them self-reliant. I try to inspire self-reliance among the youths. And my core interest is in youth development because a large proportion of my constituents are youths and they need to be self-reliant. Next month or so, we have plans to train youths on digital economy. And this is right and fitting at a time like this when we need to embrace the blue, the green, and the digital economy to change and transform the gross domestic product of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm partnering with the Justice Development and Peace Commission and AF Fund project to ensure that the youths of my constituency acquire new skills and can be self-reliant. I have done much more by interacting with stakeholders across party lines to ensure that they engender support for government, for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the Senate President of Nigeria, who incidentally is my most prominent constituent. And the partnership has been a laudable one. We're interacting with major stakeholders across party delineations so as to ensure that we deliver on the deliverables as promised during campaigns. We're doing our very best, and then we've contributed immensely in rural development, ensuring that our people see the need to support government, and then we're doing that because we owe the people who voted us into power. We're also interested in sports development. I work with a team, and I know by the grace of Almighty God, for the end of the year, we'll identify the stars that we can promote in sports development. This is what I have done for my people in the past few months in office. And in terms of the budget, we have the budget has been passed, and to the glory of God, we're executing, or I'm sure that government will execute for my people, the major roads infrastructure that is the core need of my people. There are so many road infrastructure projects that we're looking at, and we're trusting that when completed, the people will be happy. Again, we have also identified another major project, which is the Skills Acquisition Center and the ICT Center, so that the majority of my constituents who are youth can take advantage of these facilities and inspire self-reliance. We have done much more, and before long, these projects will have been completed and will be commissioned accordingly. It is my intention to represent my people beyond the shores of Nigeria in my participation in friendship committees, which by the indulgence of the Speaker, I chair some of them. I'm chairman, Nigerian Tanzanian Friendship Group, and I belong to other friendship groups, which is also to bring to the fore the participation of Nigeria and business interests of Nigeria in partnering with other countries. So far, so good. I still have much more to do for my people because I know that they deserve the best.
Well, that's all the time we have on the Gavel this week. Send feedback to the Gavel at channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.